But introducing the show, Vision with Execution, that's just the name of the show. But I got the idea from the saying by Thomas Edison, vision without execution is hallucination. So I thought vision with execution is reality.
Very good.
And there's a lot of research on that fact. And I have with me the winningest high school coach in American sports history, Coach Dave Houle. He's my neighbor, one of my best friends as well. So, of course, he's glad to come on my show. This is
Absolutely.
my third ever episode I've ever filmed. So, we're creating history here, history in the making.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I honestly don't know how this audio is going to sound, but if we hold this in the middle, see if that works for
Like
us.
that?
Yeah, right on your knee. Perfect. So, Coach Houle, he's got a resume 50 miles long, but he's coached the McDonald's high school All American team during 9/11. And did you guys win that game?
We did.
Perfect, of course. And you coached girls basketball at a school called Mountain View here in Utah.
Correct.
And you guys didn't lose a single game for
6 years.
6 years in a row. Anyway, all kinds of these really cool records, and he's coached thousands and thousands of athletes, and he's incredible at helping his athletes have a vision of what they want to become and what the team can do, and he's really good at helping them execute on that vision and turning it into a reality. So I just wanted to ask you, Coach Houle, whether you wanted to talk about a vision that you have for yourself this year, or if you wanted to talk about a past team that you've coached that you really helped them see the vision and then they executed on it. I'm just going to let you have the floor and use this as a platform for whatever you think.
Okay. Yes. Well, I always look at things when New Year's comes of setting goals for myself personally, whether it's with at home or as a coach or a human being. And then I always start out with goals and visions for my teams because I coached men's and women's cross country. I've actually coached boys basketball for 10 years and then girls and then track track and field for like 35 years. But it always starts out with you interview each individual, and then you get to what are you hoping to achieve and what are you willing to do to get there. And so they'll write down their goals, and then we'll talk about what it's going to take. You have the vision, but talk is cheap. And so what are you willing to do? And then collectively, we have everybody's goals, and I lay it out for everybody. It's okay. Our first goal is to individually, we want to get better. We want to race against ourselves and do what we can do to get better individually. And then as a team, what's your vision? Do you want to win the state? Do you go beyond that? Are you hoping maybe to win a national championship? All of that is certain levels that you have to lay the foundation for that. So it was always, what do we want to do at region? What do we want to do at state? What do we want to do at the nationals? And then even in like basketball, basketball's broken up into different, what are you willing to do? We're out of season right now. Are you willing to shoot? Are you willing to do your shooting charts? It's going to take this amount of time. What are you hoping to achieve when basketball rolls around? What is your idea? If you're just going to lay in bed and think about it and dream about it, then that's all it is. It's just a wish and a dream.
It's a hallucination.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of athletes, people, whether it's athletics or business or a company, a lot of people get lost up into that hallucination, because they say, this is what I want to do. They lay, on their pillow and go, okay, I'm going to do this. Or they'll write it down. But then, it's those great ones that actually, will work on this, every day when they get up. Okay, I said, I'm going to shoot every day. I'm going to shoot every day. I'm going to mark it down, because I want to be at a certain place in a week, in a month. And so whether it's track or it's football or it's basketball, you got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror as you look at your goals and your vision. Are you paying that price, or is it just, a smoke dream? Is it just, a wish?
So one of the things you said earlier is you have them write down what they want to achieve, whether it's
correct,
get 5 minutes faster at their cross country race, or be able to shoot a greater percentage on their free throws, whatever it is. Do you always recommend writing those goals down?
Yes. It gets to a point where they write them down at the beginning of not even at the beginning of the season, when the season's over, when cross country's over, when track is over. Even when I coach football, each kid would write down what they were hoping for the next season. But to get there, you had to say, okay, what am I going to do, in June and July and August? And so they would write down their goals. My ultimate goal is to say, run 14 minutes in a 5K. Before I can get there, I have to be willing to do hill workouts and speed and agility. They write down all the things that they're going to have to be able to do. And it's also, they got to work it out. It's sacrifice. Families going on vacations, people get sick, whatever, but they write those goals down with their name, their age, their grade, and this is what I'm hoping for. And then they have a halfway point goal and a starting goal. And then I have them. And then as the season starts, like say in cross country, I'll tell them, this is what I hope, this is what I'm thinking you're going to run. This is what you say you're going to run. Please don't run against them. Just run against yourself. Basketball wise, I'm going to put up 500 shots a day. And if you would actually put up 500 shots a day, then you become a superstar. And I've coached girls and people have gone on and played in the WNBA because they did exactly that.
Like Erin Thorne.
You've
told me about her
a lot. Greatest BYU basketball player of all time. She was just inducted in the Hall of Fame. And when she played for me, we didn't lose a game. And one of her goals was, to win 95% of the games and be ready for when it's her chance, her opportunity to either knock down free throws or a big three. And the only way she said she can get there is, coach, if I shoot 500 shots a day.
And she did.
And she did, and she worked on her ball handling. She didn't take anything lightly. She even ran cross country, and she's not a cross country runner. She ran it to feel the difference that you have to go to when you get tired. She can play back in her mind, hey, I ran cross country in 110 degrees. I sacrificed it. When I got to this point, I'll be in better shape. So she just did that kind of on her own. So, but then I remind them when we're starting our region play, I say, okay, this is all of your goals. This is our team goal. This is what we're willing to do now. Practice gets a little bit harder, gets more intense as we start to match, go up against our rivals. We had preseason to get us all ready for the region. And then as we get closer to state, the goals again change. And the teams again say, we remind, okay, guys, what is our goal for going, into state? And then it's one game at a time, survive and advance. But for us to do that, Sally, did you do everything to get to this point? Aaron, did you do? Danielle, did you do? And you just go through the team and say, and that goes for everybody. That goes for the JV team and the sophomore team. They're all setting goals because they're dreaming of playing JV or varsity the next year or college. So yes, you have to write it down. In fact, a lot of times they write it on their mirror so that every day they go to brush their teeth, they're reminded of their goals.
Yeah, that tracks with what you've told both my kids. My son is on the track team at American Fork. My daughter, she's currently playing rec basketball, and coach has personally coached each of them in their respective sports. And he told them both, write down what you want to get done and write down where you're at and how you're going to get to
Correct.
where you want to go. You have to write it down. You got to make it into a plan.
And Noah, what's interesting is when you start when they're young, like when they're freshmen, when they're a sophomore, they kind of handle and get into that. But as they get older, all of a sudden it kicks in and it becomes even more important that they know that they have to do these things, and that Noah develops into like one of our best throwers. He's a team leader because he learned.
And Noah's my son, by the way.
Yes. And he's, no one works harder than him. He pays the price. And in the end, I hope that when kids work that hard, I'm not going to judge them on whether or not they win. I'm going to judge them on they paid the price, and that's going to help them in everything that they will do in their life. I want to be part of teaching them more about throwing or playing basketball or shooting. It's about preparing them to go on a mission, say, to be able to get up every morning, knock on doors, and be rejected, because you're either going to miss shots, probably more than you're going to make. You're going to not throw your best every time, but you just got to learn to flush it and go on and always be positive and believe in yourself. That's the most important. Believe in yourself first, love yourself, and then just believe that we love you as coaches. And we're going to, even in my own life, like I've already sat down, I've already got the vision that I'm going to read so many books.
How many?
I'm going to read 30 books.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Wow.
And I've already read one and started another one this morning.
And why reading books? Why is that?
Well, for me, it's I can learn, I keep my brain active. Sometimes you can go into a different place in the world and experience, castles or whatever, but it keeps your mind sharp. And then I'm going to actually, and I started January 1, but I'm going to actually, exercise every single day for an entire year.
And you're what? 99?
Yeah, I'm and so I might not live to that time, but I'm in my 70s, but I have already planned out what I need to do every day at my house. So I don't even have to leave if I don't want to. And then some of the things I want to do to make sure that the home with Laura runs smoother. What can I do? What's something I can do to make it smoother for her? And then my goal is to write all the kids that so far that I've coached at American Fork or in our ward or wherever, I write them at least once a week on their mission. And I don't want to ever miss, but that's one of my goals, is to write them so they know that they meant more to me than just a competitor.
So anybody who's watching this show and you don't know what a mission is, it's a 2-year break essentially for young men and young women if they want to, but mainly young men in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who pay their own way most of the time to go to another part of the world. They don't know where they're going to go. They get called by our leadership to go somewhere and just teach people about Jesus Christ all day long, strangers. And there's almost no better thing you can do with your life to prepare yourself for the rest of your life than to go and serve a mission. And Coach Houle's grandson right now is in Quito, Ecuador. Absolutely. On his mission. And I know you write him daily.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. He can only read it on his P day, but I give him a rundown, just like when he writes the family, he gives us a rundown of everything happened that week. But the thing is and it's hard. I mean, I sent my son and on a mission, and it was the hardest thing because he went off to New Jersey at the time to have the homicide capital of the United States at the time. And I, I'm like, have to wait for his, because you can't call him. So you got to wait for when the mail comes in and okay, everything's okay, but it's true. They go out into jungles, they go out wherever, the Bronx, the ghettos, and they just knock, 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 knock. And then people will answer. And do you have a minute to listen to, our message about Jesus Christ? And Davey came back, a man. He came back confident, and he had a stronger testimony, and he changed the lives of a lot of people out there because they wanted to get out of that area and get a good start. So they moved to Utah, and some of those kids are now married in the temple, and some of them lived with me till they could get on their feet. And now Dee's out there doing the same thing, and I just got to trust that he's safe. But he'll come back a totally different, like Adam served a mission. And so I didn't, because I wasn't a member back then. But you just see the lives change, and girls will go out there. My daughter Star served a mission for the deaf, and they come back. They're just different. So with that, kids will probably set. I don't know hardly a kid that doesn't. When I'm coaching them, in the 6th and 7th and 8th grade on up, that's one of their goals, is to go on a mission. And so they got to stay true, to that. They got to try to live a life that will allow them to go on a mission, and it's sometimes it's hard.
It's a sacrifice
in today's world.
Yep.
With teenagers, but those kind of kids you get to coach, and they're more apt to set. You just can't go every day, get out of bed and say, oh, today I'm going to do this. You got to have vision to get to some place a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, so yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up. I think this has been tremendous. Thank you for sharing just a smidgen of the wisdom that I know is locked inside your brain. I may bring you back on the show later on.
Absolutely.
After half the year's gone by, and see where people are at.
And it's an honor to be here. And it's awesome that you're doing this, because it's going to help thousands of people if they can just sit and say, oh yeah, okay, a vision. Okay. I'm willing to do what it takes. So I think it's awesome what you're doing.
Well, I hope 1,000 people watch it one day. All right. This has been an awesome show. Again, this is Adam with the Vision with Execution show. Vision with execution is reality.